Hey everyone, Mitch coming up from the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So, no, sometimes during spoiler season, things just don't go the way you think they're gonna go because, during the previews and whatnot, they showed off this picture of Ephara, and I'm like, oh sweet, we get a new Ephara, awesome. I'm really excited to see a brand new Theros god. Yeah, and the potential for that, we kind of got it, but nope. I mean, it's still a really cool card, but not what you or maybe you expected it. I didn't expect it, and well, let's just jump into it. Yeah, spoiler season day 4, mom. Here we go. So, invasion of Theros. Yeah, that's not Ephara, but we'll get to that here in a second. So, Invasion of Theros is a battle siege. Again, if you are not familiar with battles, make sure you check out my first episode on battles. That was from quite a few days ago. Feels like forever at this point with how many episodes I've covered during spoiler season. Regardless, as the siege enters the battlefield, you choose an opponent to protect it. You and others can attack it. When it's defeated, you exile, then recast it transformed. This is a battle that costs 2 and a white. It starts off with 4 defense counters, or I can't remember what you call them anyways. Basically, it takes 4 hit points for it to get taken out. And when it does, well, you recast it. But first up, when it enters the battlefield, you search your life for an aura, god, or demigod card. Reveal it in your hand, then shuffle. Lots of good gods, lots of good auras, and sure, I guess demigods too. Actually, I think there's like 5 demigods. I don't know if there's really that many. Regardless, this is a good ETB. It's also a pretty low to the ground battle, and one that is decently easy to take out. Again, just for toughness, hit points, whatever you want to call it, essentially. So yeah, when you do take it out, then you get to cast it transformed, and here's Ephara. And yep, that's the picture that was used. At least that's the one that I saw that was used. That had me excited for a brand new Theros god, but nope, not a commander. I will say that commander is a social format, so just talk. If you want to utilize this as your commander, I'm sure you can talk to your playgroup. I'm sure you can talk to those of your LGS, and some will be okay with it, and some won't be. So yeah, use a battle as your commander. That might be interesting. But to my knowledge, the rules committee has not said, yeah, battles that are legendary on the back can be your commander. I don't believe they've said that. It's kind of like Erebus, the Binding Blade, or whatever, essentially. Whatever that. It's not Erebus. Maybe that is. The whatever the one is flips over to that demon dude. Anyways. If it's not legendary on the front and it is legendary on the back, from this or at this point, I believe again they are not legal commanders. So yeah, unfortunately, Ephara Ever Sheltering is legendary, is an enchantment creature god, but is not eligible to be your commander. Unless you ask ahead of time and people are okay with that. Regardless, 4/4 god that has lifelink indestructible as long as you control at least 3 other enchantments. So yeah, we were gonna get enchantment tribal Ephara, but not really, because whenever their enchantment enters the battlefield to control, draw a card. Yep, got an enchantress, enchantress Theros god. That would have been pretty spicy, but nope. It's on the back side of a battle. So it is definitely a card that can be good in a good amount of decks out there, actually, you know. It is a card that can obviously be utilized very effectively for, well, God Tribal. It's a great tutor for that, and then also just a great God in the back, too, to flip over into. It's also a, good card for, potentially a deck that utilizes, certain auras, specifically for, like, a Voltron deck. It's also, of course, a great enchantment to be in an Enchantress deck. It is an enchantment, but it's also a great card to be in an Enchantress deck, I should say. Can search up an aura, again, maybe one of those that can blink itself. We'll talk about some here in a bit, so you can really get a lot of value, again, out of this Enchantress effect, as well as your other Enchantress effects. And yeah, just an incredible Enchantress effect in play. One that is better than certain other ones, I will say, in most circumstances, because it does say whenever another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control. It does not specify cast. So, again, if you've got any token enchantments, etc., other ways, maybe to have them come from your graveyard, you can take advantage of that versus, other enchantresses that say, hey, you need to cast it, you don't get that trigger. Now, as disappointed again as I am that we're not getting an Ephara legendary creature that can be your commander, again, this is a very exciting card. There's a lot of decks out there that can utilize it, and let's talk about one thing really first. Let's talk about one thing really quick first. There we go. I can talk. It is late in the day. I need my second cup of coffee. But yeah, basically, again, when it comes to enchantresses, of course, we've seen a decent amount of enchantresses. I mean, from original Theros, I believe. Was it original or second Theros? I don't know. Eidolon of Blossoms, a great card. I think it was second Theros. I don't know. Constellation, whenever it or other enchantress battlefield under control, draw a card. So this one, it's more kind of like Ephara. Again, like I mentioned, unlike, others like Mason Enchantress that I believe require the cast, essentially, it's like, hey, yeah, you just get it for the enchantment coming into play, which again can be massive. Now, when it comes to a comparable would-have-been commander, yeah, we've obviously gotten Sithis Harvest Hand back in Modern Horizons 2, I believe. A 1/2 nymph that says whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life, draw a card. So again, this one, again, basically has a cast requirement. Yes, sure, you gain some life. It's a little lower to the ground, I guess. I mean, compared to, like, free mana and then also the flipping. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to, like, the potential for an Enchantress commander, I kind of like, the Azorius side of it, going specifically that way. I don't think we've seen an Enchantress just Azorius commander. And then also, again, the potential for it to be indestructible, have lifelink. You can go Voltron if you want with it. Being indestructible is just harder to deal with. So it's an Enchantress that is really, really good to stick around. But yeah, unfortunately, it is not, so that is okay. Let's move on, though, and talk about the potential of that front side of the card. Again, it being a battle, cool. I mean, I think it's an interesting new permanent type, essentially. It's pretty cool. And then also, again, with that ETB, yeah, of course, I should mention there's certain ways to use and abuse that, including blinking, like, hey, I guess you can't blink it with this, but you can, blink it with things like First Time Twist, and then go get even more things, like, more gods. Like, that's a Deep Dwelling, which cares about blinking. That was the connection. Totally flubbed it. Regardless, 6/5 indestructible god. Devotion of Blue is less than 5. It's not a creature. Beginning of your end step, exile up to one other target creature controlled and return that card to the battlefield under control. Again, blinking is a very effective way to use and abuse, for example, ETBs, to get a ton of value out of them. This is basically like a Conjurer's Closet on a creature, and again, being able to tutor up certain gods that are incredibly impactful. Yeah, this one is definitely incredibly impactful. And also, pay 3 in a blue, tap another creature. Why not? It's a good card. Moving on, the Locust God. We have gods, of course, from different planes. I mean, we just talked about one from Theros. How about one from Kaladesh? Not Kaladesh. Goodness gracious, what is happening? Amonkhet. Oh, I'm so sorry. It is late in the day. Again, Coffee. 4/4 Flying God. Whenever you draw a card, create a 1/1 blue and red insect creature with flying and haste. Pay 2 blue and red. Draw a card, discard a card, so basically loot. Yeah, this is a great card and one that can just make you an absurd amount of, tokens in absolutely no time. And of course, with Enchantress effects, that also can just get you even more, cards drawn. If you got more enchantments, if you've got, this kind of enchantment god kind of deck going on. Yeah, you're going to be able to get a good amount of value, when you get Ephara in play, when you flip that over after you tutored out, the Locust gods. So yeah, there's a lot of powerful gods out there. Again, just to name another one, Kaldheim is also a set that also gave us some gods too. Bergi, God of Storytelling. 3/3 God. It says whenever you cast a spell, add red until end of turn, you lose mana of steps and phases end. This is a fantastic, just kind of, it turns all your things into rituals, essentially. Every single one of your spells now are rituals. So basically, cast something, sure, if it's an enchantment, you're drawing a card when it enters the battlefield, and you also get a mana back out of it. So you can cast spell for spell for spell, have some really explosive turns. So yeah, again, a lot of gods across a lot of planes. This can help you go get them. Also, demigods. And again, I think there's only, correct me below in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm just thinking like Theros had them, like there was 5 of them, I think. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that's kind of it. I mean, maybe there's more demigods in the future that are going to be more impactful. And of course, I'll mention another kind of card type that you can get right now with Changeling, because Mirror Entity, yeah, is a shapeshifter, but it has Changeling, so it's every creature type, including God, demigod, Phyrexian as well, but I mean, that doesn't matter for this context. But still, yeah, you can tutor out Changelings, including this one, which is fantastic. Pay X, until turn creature control, base power toughness XX, and gain all creature types. Just basically, it's a way to just dump a ton of mana into it. In one of these kinds of decks, essentially, to say, I just have a lot of really big creatures. Again, I'm changing the base power and toughness, making them massive, and sure, there's sometimes when their creature types might matter as well. Now, all that said, you also can tutor up other things like, again, auras. Again, make sure you keep in mind, it's not just enchantments in general. You can tutor up auras with this battle, essentially, like a Darksteel Mutation. This is a fantastic removal spell that can really set someone back. Chain creature is insect, artifact creature with base power and toughness, 0/1 is indestructible, lose all types, cards, abilities types, and creature types. Basically, hey, put this on someone's commander and they're probably wrecked unless they can get rid of this. If their deck revolves around their commander, your commander is no longer really your commander. It's just a 0/1 bug that is hard to take out. Again, a Wrath of God will not take it out. Your, burn spell will not take it out. You need to have destroy enchantments or you won't be able to get rid of this. So, yeah, a great way to really set a player back. And again, something you can tutor for if the situation requires it with your new battle before you flip your Ephara. And then when you flip your Ephara, if you play this afterwards, you draw a card. Cool. Next up, Imprison in the Moon. Somewhat similarly, but a little more flexible when it comes to what you're taking out. Enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land with tap, add colors, and loses all their card types and abilities. Turning something into a land, especially again, a commander that a deck revolves around, is brutal. So again, if they don't have a way to remove that enchantment, they are in big trouble because their commander is now just a land. Sure, you're gonna say, you know what? You're welcome. I'm ramping you. I'm getting you ahead, right? In commander, you want to be ahead on mana. Here you go. I'm ramping you. Your commander, it's now a land. You're welcome. Yeah, pretty brutal. And again, yeah, another thing you can tutor for with this, Ethereal Armor. If you're in, more of a Voltron type strategy or whatnot, and again, you're playing a lot of enchantments and you got an Enchantress deck essentially, yeah, go get Ethereal Armor. A single mana. Enchant creature gets ++1 for each enchantment you control as first strike. This is a massive pump effect. Actually had a standard deck long time ago built around this. This makes like standard boggles. I loved it. Glade Cover Scout, I love you. Anyways, yeah, ++1 for a ton. Again, if you throw this on, your Ephara, once it is a creature, if you've got 3 other enchantments in play, cool. Lifelink, indestructible, giant god, swing at your opponents. Have fun with that. Oh, and you drew when this came into play. So it's basically a cantrip too. Also, when it comes to enchantments, again, in an Enchantress style deck, oh my goodness, being able to tutor out with, again, something that will turn into an Enchantress, you can tutor out Flickering Ward. Tutor Flickering Ward into your hand, cast it, draw some cards. My goodness, because, hey, when enters the battlefield, choose a color. Cool. Enchant creature gains protection with the chosen color. Don't pick white, because it will get rid of this, I believe. I mean, I don't think there's any errata that says, like, accept this, accept auras. Maybe it does, but, if not, don't pick white. Pay a white, return it back to its owner's hand. So you can blink this. You can bounce this back to your hand for a single mana. Play it for a single mana. Same thing again and again and again. Basically, 2 mana, draw a card with your commander. Again, if you have other enchantresses in play, like Mace Enchantress, Eidolon Blossoms, etc., cool. Draw an absurd amount of cards. Again, just 2 mana to do this again and again and again. And yeah, again, the battle side lets you tutor for this, which is fantastic. Okay. Now that we've talked about kind of comparable cards, now that we've talked about cards that work well with it, cards you can tutor for, let's talk about some commanders that actually might want to utilize this card. And the first one that came to my mind was Devasa the Sunlit. Yeah, an Enchantress commander itself, one that is limited though, but one that loves utilizing Enchantresses. A 1/1 Merfolk Shaman. It's going to get ++1 for each enchantment you control. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card, and it's got the 3 perfect colors for an enchantment deck, essentially. Bant. It is green, white, blue. So, yeah, you get access to this brand new card as well. And, yeah, again, useful, when you start off with, because you're like, okay, I'll play the battle side. Awesome. I will go get, Flickering Ward or whatever I need for the situation that I'm in. It's a great tutor to say, yeah, I'll go get this enchantment. That's going to provide me an absurd amount of value. Again, Devasa can draw me a card when it comes into play if it's the first enchantment spell I played. And also, if I've got other enchantresses, great, I'm going to draw 2. And then when it flips, it's even better. Pumping our commander, again, because it is an enchantment. Ephara is an enchantment. And then, of course, also, just additional Enchantress in play. One that is going to be very hard to deal with because it's going to be indestructible the vast majority of the time. So, yeah, a great card for this kind of a deck. Moving on. Another Enchantress-style commander, but one that goes about in a different way is Esther the Mask. And I really want to point this one out because it's got an interesting interaction. 3 loyalty, +2, untap each enchanted permanent you control. That's nice. -1, create a white aura enchantment token named Mask attached to another target permanent. The token has enchant permanent and totem armor. So with this, hey, again, Ephara mentions that whenever enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, not cast. So even though you are not casting this, aura enchantment token named Mask, you get to draw just by activating this ability. So it's just additional value because, again, of that, the way it's worded. It's entering versus casting. Also, speaking of which, -7, mill 7, return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, then do the same for aura cards. Yeah, again, because of the way that Ephara is worded, this works better than a lot of other enchantresses that require the enchantment to be cast. Because now let's say, you mill 7, you put, 7 enchantments in play. If you've got Ephara in play, flipped or whatever, you're drawing 7 cards with this ultimate too. That is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. That is incredible. And yeah, Ephara, the new Ephara, the Invasion of Theros, can be considered for Estrid most definitely. Next up, Eska, God of the Tree. This one definitely can be built as a God tribal commander. It's built in a lot of directions. You can go super friends. You can just go big giant creatures. You can definitely go God tribal as well. It's a pretty popular God tribal commander because it's a God itself, obviously. 1/4 God with Vigilance, tap, add 1 mana of any color. All legendary creatures you control have Vigilance, tap, add 1 mana of any color. To my knowledge, and correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong on this, but I believe all gods are legendary so far that we've seen. Don't say changelings in the comments. That's not fair. That's not fair. Not including changelings. Gods are just typically legendary, right? Because, hey, yeah, it's a god. It's legendary. That's just how it would be, right? It's unique. Anyways, so because of that, hey, God Tribal, very good build for this one. Again, with your new battle, you can go tutor out a god, get it right in your hand. I keep saying tutor out. I mean tutor it in your hand, not tutor it into play. Tutor it in your hand. Great. You can go get one of your best gods. It can flip into a god as well. It can really help you out. This can be a great card for a deck like this. And yeah, if you want to do the Prismatic Bridge side as well, keep in mind that you cannot obviously hit, Ephara off the top because it says at the beginning of your upkeep, real card, stop your library to reveal a creature card or a creature or planeswalker card, put it on the battlefield, the rest of your library. When it sees that card, it is going to be seeing the front side of the card, obviously, which again is that battle side. This does not hit battles. It hits creatures or planeswalkers. So it cannot hit Ephara, even though on the back side there is Ephara. It will not hit that. So just keep that in mind, please. So, yeah. Anyways, next up, Morph on the Boundless. Yeah, there are a good amount of, God tribal builds out there, and Morph can be a very good one as well. Morph just a general kind of, tribal commander, one that can save you a good amount of mana. A 6/6 enters battlefield, choose a creature type. Again, this suits a gods. So as the chosen type costs Wooburg less gas vectors is the only amount of color mana you pay. Other creatures you control the chosen type get +1/+1. So again, a good amount of cost reduction, a good anthem as well. Again, there's a lot of different, God tribal commanders out there that you can utilize. Morph just another one that I wanted to bring up. But yeah, overall, a very interesting card. I'm still sad that Ephara Ever Sheltering is not a commander. Again, unless the rules committee for whatever reason changes their mind on battles, I don't think they will. But yeah, I just don't. I was so excited when I saw the art for this one. I was like, Ephara is coming back. Yes, let's see what this new one does. Again, the old one was kind of like, hey, when you do like, so you have a drawing as well. I expected drawing to be in here. I'm thrown off a little bit. I really wished Ephara was going to be a commander, but that's okay. We've got a lot of other great commanders from this set. This card can be very good. Again, God Tribal. For whatever reason, Demigod Tribal, if you want to go that way. I think there's like 5 of them. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong on that. Changeling Tribal even. Sure, why not? And then also, with auras, you can go, for Voltron. You can go an Enchantress style deck. It is incredible in Enchantress style deck. So yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, make sure you, comment below and let me know your thoughts are on it. If you haven't seen my most recent episode on Jeru and Hazoret, oh my goodness, you can cast massive things for free. Please check this one out. This is definitely a heavy-hitting commander, one that, well, I was not expecting, and it's a really cool team-up, Jeru and Hazoret. Anyways, make sure you comment below. Let me know your thoughts are on this art. Make sure to stay tuned for even more exciting quick takes and spoilers. And of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.